People often move through public life believing they are invisible, assuming their small actions, reactions, and habits dissolve into the background of crowded streets, workplaces, cafes, public transport, and digital spaces. Yet Stoicism confronts this comforting illusion with a sharper truth. People notice far more than you think, and even when no one seems to be watching, your own character is observing, recording, and shaping itself through every choice you make. Because public behavior is not a performance for others, but a training ground for self-mastery. The Stoics understood that life does not test us only in dramatic moments, but in ordinary ones. How we speak when irritated, how we respond when inconvenienced, how we carry ourselves when no reward or punishment is visible. And this is why they treated public conduct as a reflection of private discipline. The first mistake a Stoic refuses to make in public is complaining, because complaint is not an act of honesty, but a declaration of surrender. Every time you complain aloud about traffic, delays, unfairness, people, systems, or fate, you announce that external circumstances have power over your peace, and Epictetus warned that the moment you allow events outside your control to dictate your emotional state, you become their servant, not their master. Complaining may feel like release, but it quietly trains the mind to expect discomfort and amplify it, and in public, it signals helplessness rather than awareness, turning momentary frustration into a permanent reputation. Closely connected to this is the modern habit of oversharing personal struggles, which contemporary culture often confuses with authenticity. Yet Stoicism treats as a loss of emotional discipline, because not every burden needs an audience, and not every pain deserves exposure. Strength is not proven by how much you reveal, but by how well you carry what must be endured. And the Stoic mind understands that privacy preserves dignity, that selective silence protects clarity, and that those who broadcast their wounds often invite pity rather than respect, misunderstanding that sympathy fades quickly while impressions linger. Another public error the Stoics warn against is mocking, humiliating, or diminishing others, whether through jokes, sarcasm, gossip, or subtle contempt. Because tearing others down does not elevate you. It exposes insecurity and dependence on comparison. And Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the best way to respond to injustice or foolishness is not imitation, but integrity. Since dignity requires no audience, and cruelty always reveals more about the speaker than the target. Equally destructive is the loss of temper in public, because anger is not power, but borrowed authority. It hands control of your emotions to whoever provoked you and turns composure into a hostage. And while anger may feel commanding in the moment, it leaves behind an image of instability. Since the Stoics believed that the truly strong person is not the one who never feels anger, but the one who refuses to be ruled by it, understanding that calm restraint communicates strength far more effectively than volume or aggression. In modern life, another quiet but damaging habit is constant phone scrolling in public, which Stoicism would recognize as absence rather than efficiency, because attention is the most valuable currency you possess, and when you scatter it compulsively, you signal distraction, impatience, and lack of presence. The Stoic principle is simple yet demanding. Where your attention goes, your life follows, and a person who is fully present, listening, observing, grounded, commands respect without effort, while one who is mentally elsewhere slowly erodes their authority and self-respect. The pursuit of attention itself is another trap Stoicism warns against, as those who chase visibility often mistake noise for influence and validation for value. The Stoics understood that the need to be seen usually hides inner uncertainty, whereas quiet confidence grows from alignment between values and actions, making external approval unnecessary, and history consistently remembers those who acted with restraint far longer than those who demanded applause. Reacting to every insult or provocation is another failure of discipline, because Stoicism teaches that if someone's words can dictate your emotional state, then your freedom has already been surrendered. Ignoring unnecessary provocation is not weakness, but dominance. A declaration that your self-worth is not negotiable and does not depend on the opinions of others. Exaggerating achievements in public is equally corrosive, because true strength does not advertise itself, and when success is inflated, credibility shrinks. The Stoic path favors quiet progress, understanding that consistency outweighs spectacle, and that humility preserves trust, reminding us that life is not a stage but a practice. Finally, and most dangerously, a Stoic never abandons principles to fit in, because character is always visible even when compromised in small ways, and values traded for acceptance slowly hollow out identity, leaving behind approval without self-respect. Stoicism insists that it is better to stand alone with integrity than to belong everywhere without conviction, because alignment with one's principles is the foundation of inner peace. Epictetus captured the essence of this philosophy when he said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you must do," emphasizing that identity is not declared through words or aesthetics, but forged through repeated actions, especially when convenience, fear, or social pressure tempt you to abandon discipline. To move through public life with Stoic strength is not to seek admiration, dominance, or validation, but to act with internal order regardless of circumstance, knowing that every moment is a quiet vote for the person you are becoming, and even when you believe no one is watching, your behavior is shaping your reputation, your self-command, and your future, because in the end, public life is not where character is displayed. It is where character is built.